Just like that.
All that's coming up just ahead on Good Company.
From the Twin Cities, it's Good Company. With your hosts, Steve Edelman and Sharon Anderson. With field host Gary Lumpkin and bargain hunter Vicki Odette. And now, your hosts, the husband and wife team, Steve and Sharon.
Ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to be
Welcome.
back. The voice is back.
Yeah, the voice is back.
2 days
You're looking good in
vacation
pink.
there. That was great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I hope you had a nice 4th of July. We really didn't do that much. We stayed around the Twin Cities the whole time.
Relaxed
Just
a
kinda-
bit, played a bit. It was great fun.
My
We
dad
went to the
came in.
movies.
Yeah, my dad came in town from out of town, and it's hard sometimes to find things to do with my dad. I mean, we like to eat, and we talk. You know,
So tell
it's a
them
big-
what you did.
So I did what I had to do. I took him to see Rambo.
Oh, the guys went to Rambo.
That's right. There were only, this is July 4th, I think it was a 2 o'clock in the afternoon show. There were like 5 people in the theater.
And rightly so.
And we saw Rambo. Rightly so?
Rambo. I can't believe you take your father to see Rambo.
I loved Rambo. And that's a very unpopular thing to say. I mean, you know, I have found that if I say to anybody, have you seen Rambo? I mean, and they say, how was it? And I say, it was kind of good. People look at you like, you know, you're a fool. Like, how could you say Rambo's good? It's violence, it's terrible, you know, how could, and I kept saying, well, you know, now David, our little son, has a new role model. He's gonna be little Rambo, and people think I'm a jerk.
That's where we draw the line. You can take your father to Rambo, but you can't take your son to Rambo.
Even my dad said he thought it was dumb, but I think he actually enjoyed it.
I think he liked it too.
Yeah. It is really kind of, if you don't take it literally, you know, it's not the kind of thing where you're supposed to, there is some violence in it, you know, like he has a bow and arrow. Rambo has a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And it's a special kind of arrow where if you shoot this arrow, for example, at a building, it blows it up. So it's a special kind of arrow. But you're not supposed to take it literally, I think. It's just supposed to be kind of fantasy, and then it works.
I'm not going.
You're not going to go see
No,
Rambo?
I'm not going. I don't see Rambo. First Blood, the first time I saw that first one, part of it, and couldn't sit
And
through the
hated
whole thing.
that.
I think it's terrible. The man just grunts. He goes, ooh. You know, that's
Well,
all
what do you
conversation.
want
There's
him to,
no romance.
what do you want him to do?
Anyway, we should move on.
His grunting is star-like grunting.
He makes a lot of money for those grunts.
Well, with
doesn't
that
he?
kind of body, I mean, with those arms and everything, I mean, that's all he's supposed to do is grunt
You
and
just
kind of
look.
look sad and angry.
And
That's
it
all he
works
does.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be talking about toxic shock syndrome. There's no way to move into that from Rambo.
Yes.
No way, safely at all. Toxic shock syndrome we heard a lot about for a few years, and we don't seem to be hearing too much about it anymore. But when it was around and we were hearing a lot about it, there didn't seem to be a real cause. It was associated with tampon use. There have been some changes in tampons since then. Well, there's been new research on the cause of toxic shock syndrome, and medical specialist Dr. Michael Breen is here to tell us about that research. Please welcome him.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Breen.
Now, why have we heard less recently about toxic shock syndrome? Is there less of it around? Are we more aware of it so people aren't getting it as often? Or what?
Well, people are probably getting it just about as often, but it's not as unusual as it was. You know, originally every case was reported to the CDC. Every case had such unusual symptoms that physicians were surprised and they felt obligated to report it. Now that it's becoming a little more routine, I don't think there's quite the same incentive to report as there was before. Another reason, though, it's dropped is that tampons have become safer, and therefore, and less people are using them, and therefore, as you'd expect, the incidence has dropped.
Okay.
Now, there's new research that indicates that what? Magnesium has something to do with the problem?
Well, we've always known that 4 out of 5 cases of toxic shock syndrome are associated with tampons. And now it looks like we can tell you exactly why the high absorbency type tampons tended to cause toxic shock. It looks like, as you said, Steve, magnesium is the key. The high absorbency tampons, those that contained polyacrylate rayon or polyester, like the old Rely, those tended to decrease the amount of magnesium in the vagina, and that favored bacteria producing a lot of toxins, which would then invade the blood system and cause this illness.
Now, have those particular tampons made with that material that took out magnesium been removed from the market?
Yes, they have. They were removed in March. When these researchers came up with their conclusions in March, first thing they did was tell the makers of manufacturers who were producing polyacrylate and these polyester fibers how dangerous it was. Those manufacturers took their products off the market or altered their products in such a way that you know they don't contain any polyacrylate. We have, in fact, you might have seen, let's see if we can get a picture of this. hold it up right here. If you look at Tampax recently, you see it contains no polyacrylate, and that is related directly to the study that we were talking about. But this isn't to say that any other tampon that doesn't contain these materials is safe. There is still a link with other tampons that don't contain the material.
So you're but if you use this that says it doesn't contain that product, are you safe?
You're not absolutely safe, and I can't give you an absolute guarantee. Now, one nice thing about this study is that what you could do in the future, and manufacturers are working on this now, is you increase the amount of magnesium that is in tampons, and that will inhibit the amount of toxin production.
Has that been done in some tampons?
They are working on it now, and there's a good chance that in the next year or two that will come out, and that has the potential of being almost absolutely safe.
Now, how definitive is this research? Is that really the truth at this point now? It's the magnesium that was causing the problem?
Everything is circumstantial. I mean, it looks good because the decreased magnesium is found in the vagina when you use the high absorbency tampons, and is also found to really increase the growth of this toxin. On the other hand, there are other experts who say that the key isn't magnesium, the key is air. In other words, the reason these high absorbency tampons are so dangerous is because they allow a lot of air into the normally airless vagina. And the air, pure oxygen, is the stimulus that creates more of this toxin.
Okay.
So it's like any other finding, Sharon. I mean, it's circumstantial, it's not the last word, but it gives people a glimmer of what's going on.
Now that we're more aware of it, though, they're catching it earlier, aren't they? The
Yes,
toxic
they
shock
are.
syndrome, so it's less likely to be fatal as it was initially.
Symptoms are very abrupt. You get a very high fever, you get a sunburn-like rash, and then your blood pressure can plummet. You can have vomiting and diarrhea as well. Now, it's a very, what we would call a florid or a very explosive presentation, and many physicians are going to catch it at that point.
How much time do you have between the time you start to get the high fever and the rash and you can catch it and not have a problem? I mean, is it hours, days, weeks?
I would say, I think it varies for every individual, but I would say usually it's a matter of days. You develop the fever, you've got the sunburn, and then your blood pressure is going to start plummeting unless you do something. Usually all it takes is removing the tampon.
Really?
Yes, that.
And then the symptoms disappear?
Well,
Or do you need
that
further
and
treatment?
antibiotics. If you catch it real early, as most women do probably, they'll remove the tampon, never need further treatment. But once you develop the serious illness, obviously you need extensive antibiotic treatment.
Yeah, so check with your doctor if you do have any of those symptoms
Yeah,
at all,
I
just
don't,
to make sure.
And the last thing I want to do is to be quoted as saying, just take it out and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Go run to your physician and be sure you've got the help you need.
Okay, good information.
Sharon,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot.
Thanks,
Dr.
Sharon.
Michael Breen.
Thanks.
Floors, walls, and windows on sale at Plywood, Minnesota.
You bet you can. All carpet remnants are on sale.
There's over 500 in stock.
And up to 40% off.
If we don't have a remnant you like,
We'll cut it from certain stock items and charge you the remnant price.
Plywood, Minnesota has savings of up to 50% on wallpaper, too.
Price from 99 cents.
And Delmar window blinds now up to 50% off.
Plywood, Minnesota's remnant wallpaper and window treatment summer sale.
Direct from the factory to you.
For some years, our friends overseas have been drinking only Pepsi-Cola. But recently, they started drinking Coca-Cola. And now, our friends drink Coke and Pepsi only. But somewhere, there are people who'll go out of their way for the taste of RC Cola. A taste that's unrestrained. Yes, some people go out of their way for the taste of RC. But sometimes, not far enough.
I used to be a lousy cook until I got a hold of Heinz 57 sauce. It's more than a great steak sauce. On the back of these bottles is my entire recipe collection. Great American meatloaf, sweet and sour pork chops. This is tangy chicken. Heinz 57 gives it a tangy flavor you can't get from any other sauce. With Heinz 57, even I can be a culinary success. Try Heinz 57 sauce. It's more than a steak sauce, a heck of a lot more.
On the next Trapper John.
A nurse shocking a patient.
She's one of a kind.
That chickie pop goes nowhere near my
Cousy was just trying to do her job.
I'm going to find a way to drop kick her out of this hospital for good.
As an attorney, I have to tell you, get yourself a good lawyer, and then get out of here.
If Miss Dr. Gerard wants to play dirty pool, she ain't seen nothing yet.
Tuesday at 9 a.m. on Channel 5.
In just a moment, our bargain hunter, Vicki Audette, has some advice on shoe stores in the Twin Cities where you can actually get a pair of shoes for $13.88 or less. Are they any good? We'll find out. First, it's time for Super Bargain number 1. We have 3 good ones today. The first one is a super women's clothing deal at Spree. Now, you might be familiar with Spree. They look like that. They feature the latest in fun, brightly colored clothing and accessories. Now, that's what the store looks like, and here's the deal. They're giving 50% off of anything in their brightest Spree sports collection. It comes in vivid red, violet, and white. You can mix and match anything in the collection. We're talking about pants, T-shirts, woven shirts, and solids, prints, stripes, socks, bags, belts, scarves, you name it. They're going to give it to you for half price. Now, those items were between $5 and $40, but today and tomorrow they will be half price. The only limit is 5 clothing items and 3 accessories per customer. So Spree is located in St. Anthony, Maine, and they have another one in the Galleria. Go in and ask for the Super Bargain, and they will give you 50% off on those clothes. And now it is time for our bargain hunter, Vicki Audette, who has some interesting news about shoes. Sharon?
Right, Steve. First of all, I got to tell you what Vicki did on her 4th. What did you do on the 4th of July, Vicki?
Oh, she would tell. I went shopping. And the reason is because there was nobody else shopping, so it was just great.
Heaven.
It was heaven.
The bargains out?
Yes,
Sales
all the summer clearance sales and the July 4th markdowns, and but you know what? It's still not marked down quite enough.
What do you mean?
Well, I think Dayton's was 20 to 40%, but most of it in the racks was at 20 to 30. And so I'm kind of waiting for more markdowns,
For the 60,
bigger
50,
markdowns.
60%ers.
Exactly.
Okay, well, it's hard to beat the shoe deals we're talking about. Now, there are stores in the Twin Cities, $13.88 for the shoes. That's the highest price, right?
Right.
For the shoes in their stores?
That's their top price, is
What are we
$13.88.
getting for that money?
Well, you know what's happened, Sharon, is that this is a concept that came to town about 3 years ago. And at first, you know, people were very leery, but it is growing. And let's take a look, because I want to show you exactly how these shoe stores look and what they sell, and you can decide whether it's a bargain.
Okay.
Now, the first place that I went to is Martin's, and it's located in Northtown Shopping Center. And Martin's changed over from a full-price shoe store in February to a $13.88 shoe store, so that 75 to 80% of what's in their store sells for $13.88. Now, they do have name brands, and I think you're going to be surprised.
Wow.
Look at this. You'll find Cherokee, Stride Right, Candies, and even Calico in there frequently. You'll find that every week in there, selling for $13.88.
I am surprised. I thought they'd be plastic shoes.
No, those are leather. Now, Hotline, which is a brand that sells for about $45 in other states, in other regular shoe stores that they own, they sell for $13.88. Now, what happens, Sharon, is they buy a full line. So when they first get the shoes, they have all the sizes. As that diminishes, they put them on the racks. Now, these shoes are brands that are manufactured just for them. But they were also fairly good looking for $13.88, and they were leather. There is some vinyls mixed in, and of course there's summer canvas. Their next price break at Martin's is $8.88. So you'll find those 2 prices. Now, another location is called Shoe Kicks, and that's located in Robbinsdale. Now, at Shoe Kicks, the majority of the shoes there, again, are that one-price concept, $13.88, but they do have some sale prices. And what you're going to find on the racks is this brand, which they have quite a bit, Mia, which also retails in the big department stores, all leather for $13.88, or right next to it, a vinyl pair, not as good a quality, but not that bad for $13.88. And you're going to find the next price break will be at a clearance price of $9, and they just kind of continuously mark down from there. So you run into summer casuals, a lot of canvas shoes for $7.88. Among those, I found these Spree, which actually were popular a year ago, because what happens, Sharon, is sometimes they're discontinued styles, oftentimes, or what they would consider out of style. But look at these. Those are a classic canvas espadrille, $7.88. I saw them at a department store on July 4th for $20.
Yeah.
Now, they've got a $5 rack, and these are leather candies, sandals, that for $5, how can you beat it? You know, and
well, especially at this time of year, you don't want to pay full price for summer shoes. That's great.
Now, the next place is Gassini's. Now, they have 3 locations in the Twin Cities, and I think they actually pioneered the whole $13.88 concept here. And the thing about Gassini's is the Midway Shopping Center does not have the name brands and the type of selection that you might be looking for. I noticed that All their shoes are $13.88 at all their stores, but the best selection of name brands was found at the downtown St. Paul or the Crystal location.
Okay, they have 3 locations now. You said they're going to have
3 locations. They will have 6 by September 1st because it's something that's growing so quickly.
Okay.
At Cassini's, what you're going to find is that $13.88 price, and you'll find it on name brands where these Cherokees had just come in, and that's the fall, for the fall line.
That feels nice.
It's
now, that's
real
a nice
nice
leather shoe,
It's
isn't
a good leather shoe for $13.88, a classic style.
Even the bottom is leather.
Yes. Now, you will also find, though, the vinyl for $13.88, but for that particular color or an unusual color, that's a good price because you don't, you probably won't wear it that often.
Exactly.
You know?
And same with these? Oh, this was really less, wasn't it?
Yes, they go down from $13.88, then they have a price break at $7.88, and these were marked down to $5.88. And they're leather. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. And then these are kind of cute.
Yeah, those are cute. Now, you find the brand name in here. It says Fred West, but actually, kind of makes you think of Nine West shoes.
Yeah.
But this is something that's manufactured for them. But those are cute, and they're leather, too, and they're current style.
Of the stores we saw, do you have a favorite?
My favorite was the first one, Martin's, and the reason is because they have the majority of good name brands. They have a lot of them. The problem is that I don't live near Northtown. It'll be difficult for me to get out there. So I frequent Cassini's more often because they're closer to me, and with 6 locations, it's easier. Now, they have a good shopping day. All of these stores get their shipments once a week, so shop on Thursdays.
They get their shipments, what, on Wednesdays, and they go out on the floor?
They get their shipments on Wednesdays, they go out on the floor on Thursday, and that's when they have the best selection.
Okay, so you can't go to work on Thursday, you've got to go shoe shopping.
That's right.
Right,
exactly.
We have a bargain bulletin for you today also.
Well, we do. In fact, Sharon, it's, can you believe, back-to-school sample sales.
No, already?
I know, and July is really, for anybody who has kids, July is the best month for back-to-school samples. And there's one coming up tomorrow at the Hopkins house, and I want to show you. Let's take a look, because I've got a couple of models. Look at these outfits, Sharon. Both of those dresses will sell for $15 a piece at the sample sale. They retail for $30. The striped dress is a Cinderella, and that's a real popular brand, and they've got some good name brands at this sale. And let's take a look at the boys, because they've got some cute stuff for boys. Now, both of those outfits, the older one, Chad, his outfit retails for over $30. At the sample sale, the entire outfit will be $15. And Hunter's outfit, his total outfit for that jogging suit is $12.75, and normally you'll spend anywhere from $18 to $22 for those jogging suits.
What sizes are we looking at here?
We're looking, the best sizes will be for 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds.
Okay.
But they also have infants and toddlers. Isn't that darling? That little jogging suit. That's a bullfrog, by the way.
And that's a little 12-month size.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is when and where?
This starts tomorrow. It's at the Hopkins house. The sale starts at 3 o'clock and it runs to 9 tomorrow. And then again, it's from 9 a.m. to 3 on Wednesday. I want to give you a tip, though. People line up early for this sale. They'll be there by 2 o'clock tomorrow. But what happens is it's a mad rush, crazy. The Smart Shopper will come at about 6:30 tomorrow when they've restocked and some of the craziness is over.
There'll still be good things there.
Yes, there will.
Okay, great.
Good.
I know you got to get out and go shopping.
That's right.
Thanks. Our bargain hunter, Vicki Audette.
Thank you.
Coming up in the next half hour on Good Company, we'll announce more super bargains, including 50% off on film developing. Find out how to get the best deal when buying a used car by knowing how to deal with the salesman. And our house cleaning expert, Lois Millner, will be here with tips on how to make kitchen cleanup a breeze. Coming up next, advice on how to put more life into your career. Stay with us.
You wanna be a model, it's a nervous time for you. You're feeling so tense, but frame after frame, your style is coming through. Soft and dry will help hide when you're nervous inside.
Now, Soft and Dry introduces new Shower Fresh Scent for a just showered feeling all day long.
Soft and dry will help hide when you're nervous inside.
Real fruit juice. And they're eating them like candy.
Can I have another one?
Ask your mother.
Mom, please?
Oh, I suppose so.
Oh,
New Juicicle bars made with real fruit juice in cherry, grape, and orange. Nothing artificial, and kids still love them.
Can I have another Juicicle bar?
Did you clean your room?
Be right back.
He went for it.
New Juicicle brand juice bars. What a great way to treat your kids.
Dessert, madam. It's yogurt.
For dessert? Unheard of.
Introducing the yogurt that is good enough for dessert. Dannon Supreme. An extraordinarily delightful Dannon.
Really?
Smashing!
Dannon's best fruit in not one, but 2 luscious layers.
Marvelous dessert, darling. My idea, you know.
Yes, madam.
Yogurt good enough for dessert. Dannon Supreme.
Have I lost my cool? Why are all the girls hanging out with Larry? Don't I also have the tan, the whistle, the cooler 7-Up?
Well, Larry's got a cooler of Sprite.
So?
So? The girls know. Sprite tastes better than 7-Up. It even beat him in a taste test.
Sprite, huh?
Sure. Only Sprite has a great taste of lime.
You know, he's got something there. I only wish we had more of it here.
The winning taste of Sprite.
Our next guest says that you can really get a lot more satisfaction out of your life if you take a look at what you're doing and find some real purpose in it. He is a career and a family and really a life counselor, and he lives here in Minneapolis. He has written a book, by the way. Let's take a look at that. It is brand new. It's called The Power of Purpose by Richard Leider. Now, we're going to meet Dick in just a moment, but before we do that, Dick asked some older people if they had their lives to live over, what they do differently.
Well, the one thing that I'm rather anxious about is that I'm not going to get everything done that I would like to do. But, of course, that's not up to me. But I will say that I've enjoyed it. My life has been very interesting.
I heard my brother saying to me just 2 weeks ago, we don't have very much longer. You know, and if we're going to do something and have more fun, we better start.
I'll be 91, the 24th of November.
But as I look back, I realize now that money isn't everything. And I also think that I gave it too much value in retrospect. That the family has a lot of good things it can give you if you let it.
So what can we do to make our lives work better now, before it's too late? Oh, Dick has some ideas. Welcome, please, Dick Leider. Greetings, Dick. Thank you. Fascinating research to talk to older people. If they could do it again, what they would do differently. Was there anything consistent about their answers?
3 themes, Steve, seemed to come through rather consistently. First theme was people said if they could live over again, they would be more reflective the second time around. By reflective, I mean they would just stop occasionally and ask themselves, who am I, why am I here, where am I going? Secondly, they said I'd take more risks, which was very interesting to me because I said, well, much of our life is a study in getting security and getting a good game going and keeping it going. And they said, well, when you look back over your life, when you're in your 70s, your 80s, and you look at the peak experiences of your life, the times that you felt most alive were the times when you were taking risks. And many people said throughout our lives, what we're really chasing is a feeling of aliveness. So they said I'd take more risks. Third thing that surprised me almost as much was they said the real bottom line of the bottom line in life is to make a difference, to matter. I want to leave footprints in some way in life. And that really got my attention and was part of the reason that I wrote the book.
Well, now, how can people find a way to make more of a difference? I mean, how do they find that purpose?
I think there are a variety of ways to look at it. You can find it in your work primarily, in your family, in your community, in your church. It's discovering what moves you, discovering something you feel strongly enough about that you're willing to wake up in the morning and put your skills towards that thing that moves you, that thing that interests you, that problem that needs solving.
For most people, it seems that just getting through the day is a lot of logistics. You don't really have the time to take a look at what moves you, what's the most important in your life. Do you have some tips, some ways that we can do that before it's too late?
Well, there are some things we can do, but life happens like the wink of an eye, the older people said. It happens so fast. And they said, like the man in the video said, there's 2 currencies. There's time and there's money. And some ways to pay attention to the time currency in life. First of all, I advocate taking what I call a daily solo. And that's a 10-minute time by yourself, preferably at the start of the day. Kind of the mind over mattress theme. Wake up a little bit earlier in the morning and focus on the day. Look at the day as it unrolls and what's important to me. What are my real priorities this day? So that you don't get to the end of your life and look back and say, why didn't I pay more attention to the things that were really important?
It sounds like you're talking about not just making a list of things you have to do that day, but taking a bigger look at what things are important to you and making sure they're in your day?
Right,
Is that the point?
exactly. If your children are a priority for you, how do they fit into the course of your day? If your spirituality is important to you, where does that fit into your day? As well as your work and your marriage and other aspects. Otherwise, we're so busy chasing all the time that we never have time to really focus, and pretty soon life is past us. So the first thing is to take a solo. Second thing is to have a support network. What I would, in a support network, you need at least one person who is your wake-up call.
Wake-up call?
Wake-up call. Somebody who awakens you to the possibilities in your life, who says, time out a minute, Steve. What are you really doing? What are you really trying to accomplish? Where are you going with all of this? And I know occasionally...
yeah, Dick does that. I know Dick because he lives here and he's been doing this for a long time. And you do that for me, which is a wonderful thing to do. Dick will say, well, now, are you having fun? Are you having a good time? And then he'll kind of start to look into, well, how about this, how about that? But you're saying everybody should have a person like that in their lives. It's hard to find those people.
It is hard to find those people.
You having fun? It's a good start.
Yeah, when Dick's not around, then Sharon does it, see? I do it for David, but he can't talk. So.
No, but he's always having fun, so.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's
I
a
think
really
they
good point, though.
As mutual wake-up calls, and we need that. All of a sudden, otherwise, usually it takes a crisis to wake us up. A health problem, a problem with a child, some major issue in our life, and then all of a sudden we stop and say, wait a minute, what have I been paying attention to? Why have I not been focusing on that, what's important?
Who wakes you up? I'm just curious.
In many ways, my children do. And that's one kind of wake-up call. The kinds of questions they ask are so brutally honest and forthright. Nature is a wake-up call for me in some ways. Just getting out in a natural setting and looking at the balance of things and appreciating or celebrating what really is going on and my part in that whole scheme of things. I also have an older man who, he calls me his mentor, but he's really my mentor in some ways, an older psychologist in town who really asks me the good questions. And I like to meet with him at least once a month. First of all, his life is such a wonderful example of balance. And secondly, he just asks me these kind of penetrating questions. And I always come away with just a little bit of a slant, a new vision.
So find yourself someone who can give you that wake-up call. That's great.
Absolutely.
We want to mention again the name of Dick's book. It is available here in the Twin Cities and, of course, all around the country. It is new, called The Power of Purpose, Richard Leider. Thank you, and good luck on this tour. He is now going from here to do a national tour to tell other people about what's going on. We wish you great luck. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
How can candy this delicious have less than 10 calories each? Doesn't add up.
You bet your lifesavers.
Ooh.
C&H, pure cane sugar, from Hawaii, sweetened by the sun. Island sugar, always pure, so be sure. C&H, pure cane sugar, pure and sweet from Hawaii. C&H, pure cane sugar, that's the one.
Franzi has won a lot of awards in its 78-year history. It's made us all very proud. But there's one problem. We developed our new wine tap with its airtight container. It keeps those same award-winning wines chilled longer, and most important, it keeps them fresh from first glass to last. But now, what do we do with the awards? The Franzia Wine Tap. Award-winning wines that stay fresh to the last glass.
Somewhere in all these dusty law books, a great idea got lost. The idea that law is for people, and people should be able to afford it. At Hyatt Legal Services, we took the fear out of legal fees. You can discuss your problem with a Hyatt lawyer for just $20. And for cases like divorce, bankruptcy, wills, and accidents, we tell you our fee up front. I'm Joel Hyatt, and you've got my word on it. We took the fear out of legal fees across the country and in your neighborhood.
Our housekeeping expert Lois Millner is with us to give us some suggestions on how to keep your kitchen in order. First of all, we have a super bargain for you. This is our second super bargain of the day, and this is a chance to get that film processed for half price. All those pictures that you shot over the 4th of July. The Photo Mill is where this deal is. They have 6 area locations, and they process film, and they have a card and gift department in some locations, all sorts of photo equipment and supplies as well. And the deal is, if you go to any Photo Mill today and tomorrow and ask for the super bargain, you'll get half price off their film processing, which usually costs $4.29 to $11.49 per roll, depending on the type of film and the number of exposures. There is no limit to the number of rolls on this deal, so you can take in all those rolls that you've been saving up. Photo Mill locations: Southtown, Country Village, Southdale Square, Village North Center, Burnhaven Mall, and also in Winona. And when you take those rolls of film in, be sure to ask for the Good Company Super Bargain in order to get them for half price. Steve?
And now it is time for one of our favorite people. She's even cleaning up the toaster as we speak. Lois Millner is such a great house cleaning expert that she has a newsletter. So if you really want to know how to clean up, we'll tell you later on how you can get a Lois Millner's newsletter. How are you?
Hi, fine, thank you.
Good. Did you see Rambo over the 4th or what? Huh?
I saw a 1.5-year-old granddaughter a few more hours a day than I really cared to.
Oh.
She missed her mom.
Uh-oh. So she cried and you knew what to do, right?
Right, I cried too.
Good advice, Lois.
Right, her mom is a potter, and they went to Madison, Wisconsin for a show.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get the kids' mind off, you know, where's Mom? I said, Mom's in Madison with the pots. And all of a sudden they'd hit a note with her, and she just, you know, and she had all the reactions. So we went through the whole day.
That did it.
Right.
That was good.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, now, you brought with you all kinds of little things here, like the kitchen sink.
Right.
What's the idea? You have a tip for kitchen sinks?
When I give talks, I take it because they say, when I bring my suitcases in, you know, they say, oh my God, she's got everything but the kitchen sink.
No.
So I bring the kitchen sink so they can say, she's got everything.
But you don't have a tip about sinks, you just bring it.
This, in my classes, this goes along with a bathtub. This is a miniature type bathtub. And people who, you know, we have this saying in class that when I moved into this house, you don't want to admit that you did any of this stuff. So to take you off the hook, we say, when I moved into this house, whatever. Yeah. And if they have orange butterflies and you had your heart set on blue daisies, how do you get it out?
How do you do that?
You don't use a razor blade. I mean, you can. It will not hurt the surface if you keep it flush and so forth. But what you want to do is just take an iron, put a brown paper bag on top of it, take your iron, go over it, and it will loosen, and you just... The butterfly goes right off, right.
Okay, good trick, good idea.
Right.
How about toasters now? The plastic on the toaster.
If you knew
here.
how hard I work to get this junk on here for you people, it's
it's nice of you. This
right.
is a good toaster that you ruined.
Right.
For
well,
us.
it's a garage sale toaster, and it did look sort of like this one from the back room.
So what do you do?
There again, now this one we would push the lever down and we would heat it, and most of it would come off. In this case, probably all of it would come off because it's not cooperating. But if it didn't, if we all have those toasters, you know, it isn't everybody's fault. When the toaster's pushed down, if the bread wrapper's anywhere near it, you know, that's the way it goes. And so it really isn't anybody's fault. They didn't do it on purpose. But you can get it off, get it warmed up, and always, when you do anything with an electrical appliance, you always unplug it before you monkey with it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Good idea.
Then you take a piece of steel wool, which is this kind. I always worry about you people.
Why?
You go to the hardware store and you say, give me some steel wool. And then you want number 0 or 5 or whatever. This is the kind I talk about, has no number. It's the steel wool with no number. And if you wet this...
What's the difference? Oh, you mean it's coarseness.
The texture is what we're after here. And if you just take this and wet it and go gently, you can see, I'm just being real gentle. There's no elbow grease, no arm, you know, leverage involved in this.
Is this straight steel wool, or is this the kind that has the soap in it?
No, I don't use soapy stuff. I just use this.
Okay.
And you go over that, and you can get that off.
Okay.
And you clean it all up.
How about screens?
Screens. Screens are a scream. We've got 2 things in one here.
Yeah.
A lot of people will take
broccoli on the screen.
That's the next thing.
That's the next one, okay.
Right. This is something people will use. They'll use a whisk broom, or they'll use their little round dusting brush from their vacuum cleaner, both of which will work. Kind of messy or whatever. But if you take your dampened sponge and just go very lightly over the surface, look at it. See it go into little balls?
Yeah.
Okay? Then you turn this over and go this way, and it's gone.
Why do you like it more than, say, the brush kind of idea?
I don't want it in my hair, and I don't want it flying around. I haven't really done anything with it with a brush. I've moved it from one place to the other, which is back in the air.
Okay.
This way, I've got it, and it's, you know, I know where it's at.
Okay.
Take my bucket and scrunch it out.
We only have time for one more quickie. Which one do you want to do, the broccoli, or what do you like the best?
Well, as long as they got the broccoli, let's do that.
Okay.
It's canning time for some people, or canning or freezing time. Here we've got several pieces of nylon net, or you could use, what is this stuff?
Cheesecloth?
Cheesecloth,
Mm-hmm.
right. And you take your vegetables, your broccoli or your cauliflower or whatever, make yourself in little squares like this, okay? Now, you take your little twist 'em, put it around here, dunk it in your hot water, boiling hot water, it's on the stove, and you put your twist 'em around it, plunk it in the hot water, leave it for the amount of minutes involved, then you put it in your ice water.
What's the idea?
Well, you're blanching it.
Okay.
Later on, you can't put this stuff in the freezer this way. It'll get all... So, you blanch it, you hot it, you cold it again, then you pop it into your little plastic bags, and it really saves you a lot of time. Well, if you can have 3 of them going at once, just think how fast you can do it, because you know how much time this stuff takes. It's really ridiculous. Easier to buy it frozen, except you grew it. Now what are you going to do with it?
Good point.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Lois. We want to mention again that Lois has a newsletter. And what do you have? Let's show the address. What's in the newsletter?
Everything you want to know about housekeeping and we're afraid to ask.
Okay, so if they write into that, what do they get? More information, or do they have to send in money? Or
Oh, it's $6.50 a year, but I'll send them a free copy if they want to bother to send a self-addressed stamped envelope. And
sounds good. Lois Millner in
how can you
Willarney,
go wrong?
Minnesota.
Did you ever look Willarney up and find out where it's at?
Where is it?
South Shore White Bear Lake in the middle of Montemita.
And you used to be the mayor.
Yes, I'm a council person now. I've taken a step to the side, not down, just to the side.
Well, good to have you back again.
Nice.
Lois Millner, our house cleaning expert. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Coming up this week on Good Company. On Wednesday, here in our studio, it's Eileen Ford, the super agent who discovered model Christy Brinkley. Also on Wednesday, Sharon meets Marlo Thomas and finds out what advice her father Danny handed down to her. And on Friday, we'll meet some Twin Cities women who chose to have babies but not get married. Coming up next, advice on how to get the best deal when buying a used car by knowing how to deal with the salesman. That's just ahead.
Hi, honey.
Hi, sweetheart.
Better start without me.
Oh, we're having Ortega tacos with Ortega taco salsa. Oh, it's so chunky. With zesty, tangy chilies and onions. And with luscious, juicy, tomatoey flavor.
Crunch into an Ortega taco with Ortega taco salsa for an irresistible taste experience.
Irresistible.
Thank you, dear. Ortega tacos, the irresistible taste experience.
Mom's got the cure for the summertime blues.
Nestle Toll House Pan Cookies and Ice Cream. A summer treat you bake in a pan in 20 minutes with Nestle Toll House morsels. And now Nestle really has a scoop for you. Free ice cream. A sure cure for the summertime blues. Look for details at your participating store or in July 14th Sunday supplements. Nestle Toll House Pan Cookies and free ice cream.
Mom's got the cure for the summertime blues.
Are you just a number to your phone company? 973, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're number 1 to Sprint. You're important to them. I'm not kidding. You can talk to them anytime. A real person. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're there. And Sprint spent $1 billion last year to make sure you come through loud and clear. It's your choice. You can be somebody to Sprint or a big zero to somebody else. Call Sprint. Find out about it.
We're having our biggest ever microwave and appliance sale at the Best Buy Company.
Your new appliance store.
The Best Buy Company has the Twin Cities' largest selection of name brand refrigerators, dishwashers, ranges, washers, dryers, and microwave ovens. And it's all on sale.
Your new appliance store.
Now, we hate to rush you, but this sale only lasts for 5 days. So look for this ad in your Wednesday paper, then shop your new appliance store.
The Best Buy Company.
Our next guest has some advice on how you can get the best deal on a car by dealing properly with the salesman. Now, he's a former car salesman himself. Interesting. So he turned around and decided, I know, I could teach classes on how you can actually beat the salesman. That's exactly what he does. Teaches college classes in that. Also, he has written a book about it called The Car Buyer's Art by Darrell Parrish. Welcome, Darrell. You know, I think that it's really interesting that you feel that the most powerful tool that can be used in buying a car is what?
Is the wife. Mainly the wife is unpredictable, and the salesman's very nervous.
Well, now, speaking as a wife we recently bought a car, I didn't want to
get involved.
Intrude. Yes, I felt like Steve knew much more about this, and it would, you know, kind of look bad if I started pushing in there because I really didn't know anything.
Well, plus you didn't want to deal with the salesman when it came to the price. Did you?
Well, I figured you could handle it.
Yeah. Right.
Is that right?
Well, the auto industry knows the husband will control the wife by saying, honey, please be quiet, let me negotiate.
No, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. It's just if you chose not to be part of the negotiation, that would be okay.
No, we would have walked out and you'd have said, you blew the deal. I was doing fine and you blew the deal. Why didn't you speak up then?
Well, what is the wife supposed to do? You're saying the wife should really do the negotiating?
Well, no, primarily we want to go into the salesman's office with the ability to consume time. We want to flow with the sales team. We don't want to irritate them at all. We want to let them spill their beans. In other words, do their stuff. And then the husband, which traditionally negotiates into the monthly payments area, which is kind of a downfall to consumers. So they're so concerned about monthly payments, they forget about all the other profit-taking areas of the deal. But at that time, when you're in the monthly payment area, the husband should just say, wait a minute, I don't want to hear monthly payments. Tell me what the price of the car is. And when you do that, you're now acting like a cash buyer. And at the same time, your wife, your partner, maybe, well, she should be in control of the down payment money. There should be lots of $100 bills on the table saying you're a real live car buyer.
So you actually take cash with you?
Take some cash with you, 8 or 9 $100 bills. Have the wife hold the money so the salesman can't touch it. He can look, but he can't touch.
And what's the concept behind that?
Well, it says you're a real live car buyer, and at this time, by consuming a lot of time, you've let the salesman invest time with you. They're not going to let you walk away. Kicking tires and hitting hoods is a real bad habit of the last generation or so. So what we're doing is moving the negotiations inside the salesman's office. Let the husband do the traditional negotiating, and then have the wife lovingly say, honey, we're not doing well. Pick the $100 bills up slowly or swiftly, put it in her purse, get up abruptly in an emotional role play. We all role play. And walk out to the showroom floor. She'll safeguard at least $1,000 of the family purse just off of that ritual.
Just by walking out with the money in her hand.
Now, what happens is the salesman's in totally shock because he's on the floor because the wife did what he didn't want him to do, want her to do, walk away. Because I've seen wives literally drive home with the husbands running down the sidewalk. We don't want her to do that. We don't want her to do that.
He's much more emotionally attached to the car probably than she is.
Yes, he's more controllable. It's easy to study the husband, unfortunately. If you go into suits and perfumes, there's 10 suits and 12 perfumes. When you go into a woman's area, there's 500 dresses and thousands of perfumes. So the marketplace doesn't know what to do with the woman and can't predict her personality for the season or the time, where the husband is somewhat traditional in the stereotype of negotiating and picking the car. And the only downfall, I think, with women is they're over-concerned for color. And I think we should kind of back away and pick the car that's on the lot that's very close to your needs if you get the big discounts. And if you do that, you have to consume lots of time, do a little bit of role-playing, and you'll be surprised how much money you'll get off.
Okay. Now, if you don't have a wife, if you're shopping, you know, as a single person or whatever, you suggest taking other people along, huh?
Yes, I give it an absolute rule that if you're single, especially if you're women, that you take friends, 2 or so. Fill the office up with your people. In other words, change the personality of the group. See, generally the consumer is shy and very not in control of themselves. In other words, they want the salesman to help them. The salesman can't help you. He's helping himself. So the team, these friends have 3 things. 1, they ask lots of questions, irritates all car salesmen because they have to work so hard. Secondly, if you meet the unethical car salesman, which does exist out there, these friends act as witnesses. And it makes him nervous. He'll play less games with you. And thirdly, if you fall victim of the touch and smell of a new car and your eyes gloss over and you say, I give up, I'll buy it at any price, they're instructed to kidnap you, take you to the nearest coffee shop for R&R, rest and recuperation. So if you take that kind of an attitude and you go in there and consume lots of time, even try to catch the youngest car salesman you can find, the pecking order in a dealership, say there's 10 car salesmen, the top 3 will sell 80% of the cars, the remaining will sell 20%, the leftovers. Those are typically the young car salesmen. So spy over the fortress or the dealership's area there and look for the youngest soldier waving off the veterans and running to this individual, because at that time you may have an amateur on your hand, and in the background the general manager might be sympathetic and let that car go at even 0 profit just to get a sale in the books for that
Sounds
kid.
good.
Yeah.
We want to mention again the name of the book. It's called The Car Buyer's Art, Darrell Parrish. Thanks, Darrell.
Thank you.
Steve.
What do you drive, by the way?
An import and a domestic.
I wonder if he got a deal on it. We'll be right back, Steve.
I bet you did.
Heath introduces a new soft and crunchy candy bar.
It's soft.
It's crunchy.
Toffee Tidbits covered with real milk chocolate. It's Heath's new soft and crunchy.
For a midday snack, you can't beat a Heath.
Heath's new soft and crunchy.
You can't beat a Heath.
For delicious ice cream, you can't beat a Heath.
We mixed Heath's crunchy Toffee Tidbits into rich, creamy ice cream. Toffee Tidbits go into the chocolate, too.
No other ice cream tastes like it. You can't beat a Heath.
Who's there helping Mom when she's up with the sun? Who helps her make lunch, great tasting and fun? Who's there when Mom's not, to help us eat well? His first name is John, his last name's Morrell. As a matter of fact, next to a dad, John Morrell is the best friend a Mom ever had. Who makes the lunch meat? Mom knows we'll all eat. You got it!
We're back again in just a moment. We're going to have our field host, Gary Lumpkin, try a new kind of vehicle that's actually being produced here locally by Polaris. What is that, an all-terrain?
ATV, an all-terrain vehicle, right.
Before we do that, it's time for Super Bargain number 3. This is a super meal deal. If you like Mexican food, this is a good deal for you because we're talking about the Old Mexico restaurant. Now, Old Mexico has 2 Twin Cities locations, and that is what one of them looks like. They specialize in combination dinners. Nice interior of that place, isn't it?
They really are pretty.
That really is nice.
Big places.
Yeah. Anyway, here's the deal. You can get either their seafood enchilada combination, which is 2 enchiladas filled with king crab, shrimp, cheeses, and a few other things, or you can get their shredded beef chimichanga combination. Ooh, all of them, it looks like a big meal, doesn't it? They were $5.50 to $5.95. You can get it for half price today and tomorrow while supplies last, and time and space permit. I guess that means if it takes you 2 days to eat it, they have to
Don't ask you to leave.
Yeah, that's right. Then they charge you double or something. Anyway, Old Mexico, they have one in Roseville and one in Woodbury. Make sure you ask for the Super Bargain, and they will give you 50% off on either one of those 2 combination deals.
Have you seen these ATVs, these all-terrain vehicles? A lot of the kids are riding around. They have 3 wheels, or some of them have 4 wheels. And up until now, they've been produced by the Japanese for the American market. Well, Polaris, right here in Minnesota, rather, is producing a new ATV. And of course, before they send them out for all of us to use, they have to test drive them. Who better to try test driving a new vehicle than, of course, you have it, our field host, Gary Lumpkin. That's just exactly what he went out to do. Let's see what happened.
Whoa, those are fun. That's an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle. Really a great recreational toy. Has some commercial uses too, used in agriculture. And until now, people like Honda and Suzuki, Yamaha, you know, the Japanese motorcycle people have pretty much had a corner on the market. But that could be changing, because you see, this one is made by Polaris, the snowmobile people from right here in Minnesota, Roseau, Minnesota. Now that's good. Good for Roseau, good for Minnesota, and good for America.
Yep, those other companies are just going to have to move over and make room for an American ATV. And it's about time, too. I mean, this is the machine for the modern-day cowboy. I mean, how many Oriental cowboys have you seen? And this obstacle course is the ATV version of a rodeo.
Well, yes, it's a tough course. And as a result, it takes a really experienced driver to test these machines to the maximum. And that's why they called me. And frankly, I was glad to help out. Because somebody has got to stand up against all these foreign imports. Minnesota needs me. My country needs me.
The course is tough. The machine is tough. And I'm tough. That's because we're all American, and being tough is the American way. So look out, imports. Here comes Polaris the American, and Gary Lumpkin the American. I know that John Wayne is somewhere watching me and cheering me on right now, telling me exactly the way he'd tackle a tough course like this. The obstacle course in sight, it's time to stack a couple of tires on, but of course you can see I'm not just stacking on 2 tires, but plenty more, because this is the ultimate test. This is for America! And I'm here to meet the challenge. And that's an American machine. You didn't expect anything less, did you? We'll see you next time.
When you're hungry for the taste of home-cooked chicken, catch a chicken. Or open a can of delicious 100% natural Hormel chunk chicken. Catching your own can cause a few problems, while Hormel chicken comes in ready-to-savor, mouth-watering chunks. Of course, the choice is up to you. Hormel chunk chicken. Home-cooked taste without the home cooking.
I've never had a snack like this before.
Smooth, sour cream and onion.
Crunchy and smooth all at once.
Crispy ridged potato shells.
Tastes like chip and dip.
It's the brand new snack that's livened up potato chips. Dooley's mixes smooth, sour cream and onion and then wraps it in a crispy ridged potato shell. Try the mild cheese and potato flavor too.
Can I have some more?
The filled snack that's more than just a chip.
You are about to see one of the most repulsive things ever shown on television. Our purpose is not to shock, but to help protect you and your family. Presenting Muskol Insect Repellent. You can't buy a more repulsive product. And now Muskol is available in a spray with more of the most effective ingredient known for repulsing biting bugs than the leading spray. So Muskol's repulsive to mosquitoes, chiggers, flies, fleas, and ticks. Use Muskol Insect Repellent. You can't buy a more repulsive product.
Oh, I think I'll have a,
Suddenly it comes over you, the urge for something rich, creamy, and delicious. The urge, you can't resist it. It's overpowering. That's why there's sugar-free A&W. Sugar-free A&W is rich, creamy, and delicious. But just one little calorie. It stops the urge. Sugar-free A&W, now with NutraSweet, it stops the urge.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Frank Somerville. Lots of road construction began today around the metro area. We will have a live report at 5. Also, a man injured in a plane crash near Faribault yesterday died early this morning at St. Paul Ramsey Medical Center. Another man died at the scene of the accident. More than 100 Minnesota firefighters are heading west to battle blazes that have destroyed more than 200,000 acres. And Arthur Ballett takes a look at St. Elmo's fire. It's all coming up at 5.
Here in our audience, we have the state president of the Women's Auxiliary of the VFW. Her name is Bernice Peterson. Hi, Bernice.
Hi, Sharon.
Here to tell us about what?
Well, I would like to mention our third annual Special Olympics softball tournament that will be held this coming Saturday in Lakeville, Minnesota.
It's what time and where's the location?
It starts at 9:45 and it will be held at Aronson Park in Lakeville, Minnesota.
Okay, so
and this is sponsored by the Veterans of Foreign Wars and its Ladies Auxiliary.
Great. So if you'd like some more information about it, there's a telephone number to call.
There is a phone number to call, 439-3330.
Good. And I understand you just were elected president.
2 weeks ago.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
I'd like to present you with one of our little cancer aid and research pins.
Oh, how cute.
I'm from
Thank
White
you.
Bear, so it's a white bear.
I see. I get it. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Steve?
You know, 1 out of 4 Americans have high blood pressure. KSTP and Snyder drugstores are offering free blood pressure tests starting the 15th, July 15th, which is a week from today. You can go to any Snyder drugstore and you can get that blood pressure checked. Call Channel 5 Public Affairs Hotline if you'd like more information about it, 647-1070, and that is going to be going on for a week.
And coming up on tomorrow's show, there is a new machine that's being used to alleviate pain at the dentist. It's called an electroaccuscope. And we're going to take a look at that and how it works.
Also, the Minnesota Department of Public Health and that man in particular are getting a lot of phone calls about what they call milk-borne diseases. Are they a problem? We'll find out tomorrow.
And we're going to review a new restaurant that's just opened in Dinkytown.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us today. We hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
For information about what you've seen on Good Company, call The Connection at 922-9000. That's The Connection, where friendly operators will also connect your call directly to the business or service you're looking for. That's The Connection, 922-9000.
Years ago, you couldn't call every place in MCI. But now you can use MCI to call every phone in every other state, every city in those states, every neighborhood in those cities. And MCI saves you money over AT&T on every call. So if you called MCI years ago and were told they didn't go everywhere you call, call again. Things do change. I mean, you should have seen my high school yearbook picture. What a bow wow.
Call MCI and then call anywhere AT&T goes across Minnesota and across the country.
When you're looking for something that's extra soft, reach for Quilted Northern. Northern is quilted so you can see how soft it is. But mostly, you can feel it. Quilted Northern. Quilted for a softness you can see and feel.
KSTP TV, St. Paul, Minneapolis, Channel 5.